Today I'm going to show you how to make any item you are filming look cinematic and beautiful. But first of all, let's look at a sequence that I made while filming with a cup and a straw, and how I made them to look cinematic and beautiful and fun to watch basically. So here's the sequence.
Coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB who we running with,
So that was my sequence, and now let's get into the tips and tricks and secrets to help you make your footage and your items look more cinematic. So first of all, the set. So you don't need a big studio with a lot of lights and expensive equipment. For example, I use my white table that's in my bedroom, and my table is near the window, so I get enough light on my objects. So my advice would be basically find a nice set, a nice table, maybe add a couple of details. I, for example, added a cutting board because my milkshake relates to kitchen and that relates to food and cutting board, so basically everything makes sense. And also that cutting board adds a little bit of wooden texture that looks really beautiful on camera and with the cup and the straw and the milkshake all in all. Another thing that could help your footage and your items look more cinematic are close-ups, because close-ups basically highlight your object's details, and because of that it looks more cinematic, more beautiful, and is more fun to watch. So basically add close-ups to your videos, try to film from different sides, and that is going to step up your cinematic video game a lot. So close-ups are the way to go. So now you have a neat set, you have enough lights to light your object, you know that you need more close-ups. So the next thing are camera movements. So these add a little bit of action to your videos. Simple camera movements like little pans or basically over the head shots. And so basically moving your camera a little bit from left to right or right to left or up and down up, so make your footage look more cinematic, because those movements add action to your object and can expose more of the object, as well as you can add a little bit more action to the object. So basically go with movements, a little pans, not too much because that looks shaky and bad and not interesting and horrible. But in some situations they may look good, but in filming objects and little objects and basic objects that stand on your table, little small movements can expose more and make your cinematic footage more cinematic and more beautiful. Another cool little thing you could do is use the object with something. For example, I had a simple cup and a straw, and I tried to make them look interesting by adding a milkshake to it, by adding Skittles and so on. Those little details, they can make your object look more cinematic, more interesting. To look at the cup, it's not interesting and it's boring, but if you make a milkshake, add a little bit of action, add something to look at, that makes your footage cinematic, interesting and beautiful and Hollywood-like and so on. Now, talking about post-production, you can add black bars, and I'm going to show you how, as well as sound effects and cool, intense music. Music usually depends on the project that you're filming. So first of all, let's talk about black bars. So if you want to add black bars to your video, basically come here and create a new adjustment layer. You press OK and add your adjustment layer on your footage. You go to Effects folder and write crop, and that's basically that's going to crop your frame and going to add those black bars. So add it on the adjustment layers, and here in the effects control panel you can see the crop function and 4 different time clocks that say left, up, right, bottom. So basically those are directions that your black bar is going to come from. So basically you can do, for example, 5 or 10% from the top and 5 or 10% from the bottom. That's basically my thing that I do. I work with those percentages. And now you have black bars on your video. And finally, add sound effects. So again, Epidemic Sounds. I take most of the sound effects from Epidemic Sounds. It has a really big library of sound effects and music and sounds. So basically I take some sound effects. For example, if you're filming rain, add rain sound effects. If you're filming water, add whales or something like that. I hope you learned something. Now you have a cinematic video of your needs. You can film any object you want in a cinematic way, on a budget and fast. So I'm clocking out. Goodbye and peace.
yeah. coming in, yeah. Flex, I just wanna win, yeah. LA